And good morning. It's Monday once again, October the 28th is where we are. Month is just about over. Halloween is coming this week, and we're a week away from changing the time. And it will be dark for the next, 3-4 months? It's on the way, isn't it? I always dread that. Just, it's depressing, I think, is the word for it. Hopefully, the United States will eventually get their act together and change this daylight saving time to where it's not so bleak. We have a little bit more time. Leave it one time a year and go on. We can't change our clocks, can we? We try, but, well, once a year I'm right. There's a lot of people that do that. It's just a headache. On the way this morning, Odie will be off. Greg will be in with us this week. We've got a lot of guests for the remainder of the week. It'll be Greg and myself coming up at 7 o'clock. Hope you'll join us. A lot's gone on for the last 72 hours. I'll tell you all about that stuff that's up and coming. Kathy, good morning. LaWanda, Steve. I see Miss Irene is there. Union, Mississippi. Let's get a good word and shake off the old and get a good word to go to our soul.
Temptation is all around us, and it comes in many forms, but for the men listening today, it often comes in the form of that forbidden woman. That woman who's not your wife, that woman who is somebody else's wife or somebody else's daughter. She's out of bounds and off limits to you. Now, sometimes it's simply our fallen male hearts that attract us to that forbidden woman, and she's completely innocent of initiating anything. But men are not the only ones capable of initiating illicit relationships. Women are just as capable and often actively attract men to themselves. So brothers, listen to the wisdom from Proverbs 22:14. The mouth of a forbidden woman is a deep pit. Now this proverb focuses on the mouth of forbidden women because it's often through words that she attracts you. Elsewhere in Proverbs, it says the lips of forbidden women drip honey and her speech is smoother than oil. In other words, flattery and sweet talk are some of the ways that she'll attract you. They'll pull you in. But know this, whether the man or the woman was the aggressor in the situation, an illicit relationship is a deep pit. If you fall in it, just like falling in a deep pit, you'll get greatly wounded. And I know several men who found this out the hard way. He looks so good, so much better than your wife at home, so fun, so satisfying, but in the end, it brings great harm. Elsewhere in Proverbs, it says, forbidden women, the end is bitter wormwood, sharper than a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Brothers, avoid intimacy with forbidden women. Guard your heart, guard your eyes, guard your ears. But above all, strive to cultivate a relationship with your spouse such that you're satisfied at home. The grass may look greener on the other side, but your grass would be greener if you'd simply water and nourish it. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. I'm afraid I may have to have a few more cups of ambition to face this day. Got a couple down, may need more there. How are you? Diane Hale joins us there. Becky is in the club with us. Teresa, so many of you. Rusty, thank you for joining us and being a part of this. We started out earlier at 60. We've dropped all the way back to 56. Our high today is going to be hot, especially for the end of October going into November when we're wanting to think Christmas. Well, it's just not there yet. Fall weather, 87 for a high today. We got details on the forecast right around the corner. In my opinion, before I read where I'm going with this, is New Orleans. I'm afraid that in my opinion, and again, let me say it's my opinion, that it's almost a lost cause. It's gone from worse to worse to worse. I told you last week that the governor of New Orleans, or governor of Louisiana rather, had issued a proclamation, I guess is the word, for the police to come in and sweep the homeless off the streets before they had the Taylor Swift show. Right before all that happened, a judge blocked that. Really? And we wonder why we're in the shape we have. Judges that don't quite understand the law and the way things ought to be. Again, that happened right before the show. He put a block on that. You've got tons and tons of people coming into a town to spend money with people sleeping on the sidewalk. And y'all know what they do on sidewalks. Crimes come with that, and he wants to block that to where it eventually gets to where people quit coming to your town, is my whole point on this. Cadillac in the headlines this morning. I don't know that this is irreversible. As a kid, and I think most of us know that because it was referred to in common language, when you said Cadillac, it meant excellence. Well, it's the Cadillac of the group. It's the Cadillac of whatever it was. That's no longer a thing. I don't think it's really been a Cadillac since 1993. They sort of lost it when they shrunk the car and took the quality away from what it used to be. And let me get this right. This is an electric car that they're trying to bank the farm on. It costs $350,000. Electric. They think they found their solution. I don't think so. Really, at one time it was the sign of luxury. That day is gone. It's not the workmanship. It didn't look any different from any other car. Cadillac always stood above. Again, when things went out of America and we lost pride in our work, we really lost a lot of things. And I think that's one of them. But $350,000 for an electric car, and they think it's the savior of the company. I'm not going to bet my life on it. Remember the theme song, The Love Boat? I can't mock it. I can't do it because I can't sing. The guy that's saying that passed away at the end of last week. His name was Jack Jones. He was 86 years old. But boy, we all heard that in our head, didn't we? The Love Boat. Okay. Well, you know where it is. I'm not going to sing it. The Washington Post adding to another line of this. They're not going to back any more candidates for president. It's over, they say. They're going to stop that. And I looked at this. Fox News did a thing on this. We'll go back to 2016. Newspapers that endorsed. Clinton had 240 newspapers nationwide endorse her. Trump had 20. In the 2020 election, 120 newspapers endorsed Biden. 14 endorsed Trump. This year so far, Harris has 80 and Trump has 10. Newspaper is a thing of the past, and we all know that it doesn't influence anyone anymore. Why? Because they're not reading it. You'll find one at a hospital here or there laying around. It's very few that go there, which leads to another thing. All these notices and things that government agencies put in there, like land tax sales or this is going up, and they hide it in the column there. No one's seeing that. This has got to be changed to where it's legally, to where you can see it to where people are. And platforms of social media. When will it change? I don't know. I need to look into that. We'll see what we can find out about it. Alex Jones is fighting. Will this happen or not? I didn't realize this, but the group that has sued him to where he's got to come up with $1 billion are asking that his social media accounts also be sold. He's trying to have that blocked to where they can't take that away from him. We'll see what a judge says. They haven't ruled on it yet. Many of you already know this. This will be shocked by a lot of where he is. We all know how Bruce Springsteen is. The normal American that goes to work, he's not in reality. Willie Nelson, and again, sometimes being political is not the right thing. I guess at Willie's age, it really doesn't matter, does it? But this is not something that just started from the time you saw him portray Uncle Jesse and fall out of an outhouse high as a Georgia pine. Should have been an indication of where Willie is. He played along with Bruce Springsteen at a Harris event. That's how he thinks. That's how he votes. Again, no shocker for most who keep up with country music and know that he's not your traditional country artist there. You can vote for who you want, but to some that may be a shocker there. Oh boy. London, let's go across the pond here for a moment. They've discovered early this morning, I believe it's $390,000 worth of cheese has been stolen. Really? $390,000. That's a lot. Hopefully they'll solve the case on that. I agree with this 129%. If I could give any more percentages, I would. Do you remember back in COVID? I think it's a right as an American. You have a choose to do what you want, as in the government can't tell you what you can and you cannot do, as in we're going to force you to take a shot. I think it's up to you to take that. So many of people got in trouble with where they worked. California is where I'm going with this. The folks that didn't take the shot that were fired. They worked for the transit. They've sued. They have won. $1 million for each of those that were fired for their jobs because they didn't take a shot that the government wanted them to. We were the land of freedom before this happened. All those rights were taken away back in 2020. It's no shocker. Time after time across America, people lost their jobs because they didn't do that. I don't think that's right. I think it's your right to choose if you want it. Whatever your doctor tells you you need to do. If you feel that you've got to, then that you can. But I don't think Americans should be forced. Apparently, a court of law didn't agree either. They'll get $1 million each for being fired from their jobs. Again, it doesn't replace their jobs and being away, but it shows those you can't do that. The Army sergeant, you remember that? The 23-year-old female, she was found dead a few hours after it was reported. We talked about that last week. An investigation is into this now. North Carolina, I don't know what it was about. The guy got married to his sweetheart. A few hours later, he was shot dead in front of her. There's more to that story than we know at this point, but that's all we have at this moment there. Anybody listen to, and I'm not one of these fans, I don't know much about it, but I know there's people out there. Greg, do you know Grateful Dead? No, he doesn't either. We didn't have that kind of music where I come from, but I did know the name. It was usually somebody dressed in black back then. I think, was that part of the Gotham movement? I'm not sure. But Grateful Dead, I think they've been around forever. One of the founding members has passed away. His name was Phil Leach, 84 years old, has passed away. Again, part of the Grateful Dead. Rudy Giuliani, everybody caught up on this? He stood before a judge, and of course he's been sued over the ballots of what he claimed. This week he had to turn over a few things. Are y'all up to this? His apartment, they took that. His signed Joe DiMaggio jersey, that guy was married to Marilyn Monroe. It's probably worth a small fortune. A 1980s Mercedes that Lauren Bacall owned. That was in his collection. That's gone, taken away from him, among other things. Getting serious there. Here's one for thoughts, and we'll go on to weather. Now, it is not the government's responsibility to raise your children. I think I'm very firm on that. 90% of people would probably agree with that. There's some that don't, but for the most part, people agree that it's your responsibility when it comes to raising a child. An aunt is suing, I believe it's New York. Yeah, New York is where this is. The child, and I'm not quite real clear, and it may have been a part of a divorce to where one parent had it. And at some point, being honest on all points of what I've read, at some point, child services were involved. But the parents let a child starve to death at the end of the day. Literally, starved to death, didn't take care of the child. And the aunt is suing the city of New York for it. I'm sorry, it is the people that were in charge of taking care of this child that should be held accountable and go to jail at the minimum. Now again, there may have been some things that child services may or may not should have done, but at the end of the day, let's not get blurry on who's at fault of who done this to that child. It was those that was his caregiver. It saddens my heart. Can y'all imagine that? He was down to 19 pounds. Yeah, as Greg said there, this is sick. Again, America is getting to where we blame others for things that happen, when we really have to step up and go, no, it's your fault, and stand by that. Now, it's not always fun when you stand up for what's right and wrong. Sometimes you're the only one. You'll look behind you of those 50 people that said, I got your back. And you step up and you look, there's only one behind you. Don't waver. Do the right thing in life. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Being the right thing is not always popular is what I was getting at. The child, I want to say the child was, it was 4 years old. Should have been somewhere around, what was the average weight? I think they said somewhere around 30, 35 pounds, somewhere along in there. Should have been anywhere from 30 to 44 pounds is what they said. Starved to death. Oh, that tears me apart. We'll get on to some things that are not quite as depressing. We got a big show lined up for you at 7. We got to get into that thing called weather next. And what we're going to talk about, well, not so bad. Rain chance.
Yes.
No, I didn't say big. Greg's getting a little too excited over here. It's a percentage. But it's better than what we had. We'll discuss that next here at the Scotty Ray Report.
When I was elected to the state Senate 9 years ago, my goal was to bring a new generation of conservative leadership to the Capitol to get things done. I'm Jennifer Branning, and I'm running for the Mississippi Supreme Court to do the same thing. I've written legislation to lower taxes and reduce regulations on farmers, manufacturers, and other businesses in Mississippi. On the Supreme Court, I'll use my experience and conservative values to always interpret the law, not to rewrite it or bend the rules for anyone.
Let's face it, accidents are going to happen. If a deer jumps out in front of your car, go see my friends and professionals at Chet's Paint and Body Shop in Center Hill. Chet can help you navigate through this confusing world of insurance by providing photo estimates to insurance companies and the right to choose the body shop of your choice. From a minor scratch to a major collision, Chet has you covered. Chet offers quality repairs by trained and certified technicians with a lifetime warranty on all repairs. That's Chet's Paint and Body Shop.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
As we go back for those record highs and record lows, 2016 we had a high of 89 today. We're going to get really close to that. 87 projected. You never know. We could go higher. We'll see. The record low was set back in 1957 as Chevrolet rolled it off the line. It was a cold day. A lot of people were glad that it had heat. 27 was our low back in 57 on this date. As we look across, look at those rain chances there. A smidgen. If you're in West Lauderdale, you may be better. Kemper County looks even promising. You get into the Philadelphia area, we'll show you that, well, there could be some more rain there, some drizzles early. We'll look at that. Otherwise, it's sunny there. I think that's going to fade away pretty quick there. There was a smidgen last night. I saw it on radar. We'll look at it here in a minute. As we look forward to this, across Alabama, nothing going on there. 85, 86 Demopolis today. Auburn, 78 and cooler. As we look at this, fire danger. Now, just because it's up in the Mississippi Delta and into Arkansas, don't ever think that it's not here crispy. Don't burn today. It's just not worth it. We'll talk more about that on the morning show also. As we look at this, look at the deep south. Let me go back to that. Hot, hot, and hotter as we look across Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia, and the Carolinas through Tennessee. That's bad hot. Now, here's our 7-day forecast as we look at this. We'll see that 86 on Monday. We'll see 84 tomorrow. We should get 0% chance of rain. Wednesday, 84. And again, there was a smidgen that happened north of us earlier there. As we get into Thursday, it's going to be a 30% chance of rain during the day. Nighttime will increase to a 40% chance of rain overnight on Thursday night. So there's our chance, our hope. Our deer patches may get a little bit. I'm taking the wind out of Greg's sail over there. It just ain't a lot, is it?
That's 70 that it ain't.
There's 70% chance it ain't going to rain. I'm trying not to be pessimistic. I'm trying to take one for the team here. As we go to Friday, it starts to dwindle down to a 20% chance of rain, 81 for a high. Then we're back to those low to mid 80s there for the most part, 84, 83 as we move into next weekend. Now, what's that I spy? Is that a 6? Yes, sir, Bob. It'll be November the 8th. After you've elected a new president, that it will drop into the 60s in our area there. Election day looks to be a partly cloudy day. 84 for the high, 58 for low. It's perfect weather. It looks like that'll be a great turnout. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. We should have record numbers go vote. Do that, won't you? 71 there on the 11th as we look ahead to that, but a couple of days at least into the 60s there as we look at this. Now, let's talk about fishing today. I almost skipped it. Let's go back and take a look here as we go out to J&J Auto Sales. It shows us that today your major time is going to be right at 10 o'clock this morning. Should be good till lunchtime. You'll get another minor chance this afternoon around 4 for about an hour. It's so-so. Wind's going to be calm, becoming south-southeast around 5 miles an hour. Now, as we flip to talk about deer hunting, here we go over at Wimberley Taxidermy. They tell us the perfect time today, the best, is 9 o'clock this morning. 9 until 11. Get an early start on it. You can be in the woods by 7:45. 8 o'clock, you'll be fine. A minor time this afternoon, if you're going after work, around 3:40, 3:45, you could still slip in the woods by 4 and be good until dark 30. It's an average day. Sunrise is going to happen around 7:09 this morning. Sunset at 6:07. So you'll be able to sit there a good hour before it turns dark on you. Wind's going to be calm, coming southeast around 5 again as we recap what that wind's going to be doing. I want you to be well aware of that. Before long, gun season will be here, won't it?
4 weeks.
4 weeks. As we look at what's going on in the tropics today, we pull this up. We got a 40% chance of this becoming a nasty gram. We'll watch this, see if anything becomes of it. Now, again, November 1, hurricane season ends. Will this die out before then? We certainly hope so. We'll watch it. Keep you posted on this. We're at November the 28th, a few more days of that hurricane season. Now, with that being said, every November rolls another storm season back in. We'll move back into tornadic season November, December, and January. Keep that in mind. We have March, April, and May that are huge leading up to that June kickoff. But we got another round here, and I can remember many, many times in November tornadoes striking. So we've got that season coming up. Be prepared, and as always, we'll be here behind the scenes with weather. It's one of the things that we started with. We will never walk away from being a weather leader for you here. When it turns bad, think of us. We'll be behind the scenes telling you where it is and where you need to be when it comes to all of that. Already, what time is it now? It's 6:52. We got to make a pot of coffee. We got just enough time to get a new pot on. We're going to be back live in just a few moments. Greg and Scotty Ray on the way as Odie takes a day off, or a week off, isn't it? Yeah, he's gone bon voyage. As that guy, did you hear me say that a while ago? The guy that sang the Love Boat theme died? Yeah, he's gone. We'll be right back as we'll start this morning together.